Hey, Bricks at Brickley here, and welcome to episode 30 of building Mordor in LEGO. Wow, we've already hit 30 episodes. That's so many videos on YouTube for this building series. And I want to thank every single one of you for all of your support towards building Mordor in LEGO. And in this episode, I'm actually going to do a lot of stuff to improve my mock because you can see that there are a couple of things I do still need to finish. For example, of course, we got the detailing on the black gate. That's definitely something on my to-do list for today because I got these walkways up here actually, which I still need to detail with the spikes and such. It's been a while since I've designed this right here, but I also need to add a couple of plates over here on this section as well. That definitely will look great when I add all of those pieces to my black gate mock. And the same for the right section, actually. And something I didn't tell you about in a previous episode is that I actually added these sort of plates right here. It's a sort of big cheese piece, actually, which can just slide right over here, slide in. And that's actually because it's a sort of gap between the higher walls and the towers, and I think that doesn't really look that good. So I decided to add that piece right there. And over here on this side, I also added another sort of gap filling piece right over there between the tower and the higher walls. So that sort of concludes that gap section. But in addition to detailing the higher walls and of course the end of the lower wall right over here actually in between the rock work, I also need to finish the towers. Now there's one unfortunate thing, and that's actually that a package hasn't arrived yet. And actually, the company which should have delivered it a couple weeks ago said that they delivered it, but it's not here actually. They didn't drop it off, so that's really a shame actually, because let me see here. I ordered a lot of these 1x3 tiles to detail this entire area. Now I hope this is going to be enough. This is actually around 200 of these parts, I believe, 1 to 200, and I ordered 400 more from another seller on Bricklink. It was like a $100 order with a lot of essential pieces for finishing the towers specifically, so I'm really sort of, well, mad about that. I would love to finish the towers, but I hope that that package is going to still arrive in time. I don't think so, but if it doesn't, I need to buy some pieces at the end of this month. And yeah, I'm not really happy about that, but yeah, that's how life goes. So I'm going to make the best of it with these pieces. I might even use some 1x2 tiles to finish off the towers. But yeah, that's that. I got these pieces right here. I need to fill in this entire area on the towers. A couple spikes need to be added here and there. For example, right here. Of course, this tower is really empty, and of course I also need to fill in these gaps on both towers, and I need to work on stability of the towers as well, because they're not really stable. Actually, while building the rock work, I discovered that when I was building and I sort of touched a tower with my arm, the entire tower would collapse. And that's not really something I want for Mordor. I really want the towers to be a bit more stable. Not 100% because that's going to damage the look of the tower, but I really want to make sure that the towers are going to be a lot more stable. So that's definitely something I can work on in this episode. So this is actually the box in which I have all of my black pieces, and I'm just going to go and get all of the pieces which I'm going to use for building the higher walls out. So a couple of, let me see here, we got these tiles over here, the 1x4 tiles, a couple of those 1x2 plates, a lot of other pieces like, of course, these 1x1 studs. We got a lot of spikes, actually 2 bags of those, and a lot of other random stuff like these 1x3 slopes right here in black color. Got a lot of these 2x4 plates. See here, we get the jumper plates, really high quantity of those. A couple of these bigger spikes, not going to need those, but always handy for future mocks. A couple of these bigger spikes actually right here, the bigger teeth pieces, so always nice to have those laying around within my part collection. And I also have a lot of these pieces to use for the towers because I use these to fill up the gaps. Now I'm actually going to go and use these in a sort of different technique, but I'm not really 100% sure on what I'm going to do to solve that problem with the gaps. I might even use a couple of these wedge pieces right here. I'm really looking forward to using a lot of different techniques. But yeah, I'm gonna go and start building right now, so I'll check in on you when I finished building a lot of the details. So I just finished building a lot for my Blackgate mock. I added a lot of details to the higher walls. I almost finished the towers, but I'm going to show you why I couldn't finish them in this episode of building Mordor in Lego in a second. And I also worked on some other stuff concerning the Blackgate in general. So we're going to go and take a look at everything I've changed within my Blackgate mock. Starting with the towers, actually, I wanted to sort of make this tower look a lot better. Now, in my previous design, actually, this entire plate row right here didn't exist, actually. So I had a couple of plates sticking out from this plate with, of course, the jumper plates and spikes. Well, I removed that, and I sort of added this whole system right here. So the entire tower actually looks a lot more closed. I'm actually going to add a lot more details to it, because over here on the bottom you can see a couple of these tiles right here. Of course, these plates and these all around the tower actually are missing those tiles, so I do need to order a lot more. Unfortunately, the package, which actually didn't arrive yet, includes a lot, and I mean a lot, of those pieces. I actually ordered around 400 of those pieces from that Bricklink store, and it unfortunately just won't arrive anytime soon. So I'm just gonna go and get those pieces from another Bricklink store near me, because I do want to finish the towers in all of their glory. So of course I gotta add a lot more tiles to this. That's gonna take a little while until I get those pieces together. Of course, I also added this entire row. I actually tried to detail it as much as possible, so you can see some slopes over here. We got a couple of spikes sticking out, actually, in that sort of way, which makes this tower actually look really cool, in my opinion. I think it looks really good. You can't really see it that good on the camera, but I believe if I show you it from this angle, you can clearly see the spikes on the sides of the Blackgate tower. Now, you might be wondering, well, Brickley, how are you going to make sure that these gaps right here are going to be filled in? Well, I'm actually going to go and fill them in by adding bricks, just regular black bricks, to all of the plate rows. Now, I actually, at the moment, don't have enough of those pieces, but I will also go to a Bricklink store for that. Hopefully, they'll have them in stock, and if they don't, I mean, this already looks so good. I mean, the tower really looks finished, almost. Of course, I also need to add a little bit of detailing right here, but in general, I think the tower is finished, and I'm definitely happy with the overall look of the tower. The same goes for the right tower as well. I actually added a lot of detailing to this, and this tower on the right actually misses a lot less tiles, the 1x3 tiles, but I do still need to buy a lot of those. So I can't wait for going to a Bricklink store and just picking up those pieces, because I really want to go and just finish the entire set of these two towers and make sure that everything is gonna look as good as possible. But yeah, that's enough about the towers. I mean, just take a look at this. The towers are detailed with lots of detailing, and still my favorite part is this part right here with the spikes. I mean, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of those spikes. I think it looks really good, and it sort of adds a little bit of detailing to that Mordor vibe right here. Definitely something really cool. But other than the towers, I actually went ahead and detailed this entire section of the higher walls. So I added a couple of spikes right here with that little wall piece, actually. Also added this plate system with, of course, all of those slopes right there. And it was quite hard to actually make it match up with this rock work right here. Definitely for all of the higher wall detailing with those plates on the sides. But it was quite a fun challenge, actually. Took me an entire day of building. Yeah, you might not imagine it, but this took a lot of time. And actually, later on, I'm going to tell you how long it took me. But over here, you can also see I added a couple of spikes right over there. Actually, you can see a couple, and this is actually what it looks like from the inside. So we get the orc right there, and of course the walkway in the middle. And of course I also added a little bit of detailing right here, which is also sort of actually sort of synced up with the tower, so you can see that it sort of links up right there, and I definitely think that looks really cool. And over here actually we also got a lot of detailing on the higher walls. It was also quite hard to make, but it was definitely a fun challenge. And I also added a couple of these sort of pieces with the studs on the sides to add this panel over here to make the black gate complete, as I promised before I would do that. So it definitely looks amazing. And of course, over here on the right side, I did the exact same. This part over here is almost the same in general, but this piece right here is definitely altogether just a different piece actually. So you can clearly see that the rock work has some sort of different shape on the right side. So that is why I had to make this sort of wall piece a lot smaller, unfortunately, but it still looks good. I mean, you can see a little bit of detailing right there and over here on the left side as well. So I'm really happy with that. And of course, this side also has a little bit of detailing with the spikes. This side actually includes 3 spikes on this end of the walkway right there. And I also managed to detail this area right over here to the bottom. And of course, before this video, this area right here was actually around this height, as you can see. And now I sort of made it a little bit lower, as you can see. So that also is quite a nice little added detail to my mock. And that's actually everything I've added to the front of my mock. And now we're going to go and take a look at the back of my black gate mock. So I actually, first of all, added those stairs to the bigger walls of course, my black gate. So these walls, the outer walls, actually have a stair system on either side. Now they're attached pretty sturdily. I'm not really sure how I'm going to customize these stairs, because I might even sort of remove a couple of these tiles and add a couple of smaller tiles with some studs, so I can actually attach the minifigures to the stairs and have them sort of be actually stuck to the stair so they won't fall over. Because right now, actually, if I put this minifigure right here, it will just fall over. So I might even just add a couple of studs like this so the minifigure can just stand over here, like you can see, so it won't fall over that easily. And the same for this side as well. Really looks amazing in my opinion. And I also detailed this a little bit more actually. This is actually quite amazing. Did that in one of the previous episodes, but I sort of had to customize it over here, especially on the right side, because this right here was also quite empty, so I had to sort of customize that as well, add a little bit of plates to that with, of course, the slopes. And this area right here was a little bit unstable, so I also had to add a little bit more stability to that area of the higher wall. And before I forget, I also customized the walkway on the right side of the black gate. Now I might even need to customize it a little bit more in the future, because some of you actually mentioned that I need to make those walkways a little bit rounder. Now I'm actually going to tell you why I use this design over here on the left. So this design on the right is a little bit rounder, as all of you commented. Now I might even use this design and sort of make it longer, because as you can see right here, I'm going to push open the black gate, and we're just going to go and push it open. And as you can see, the lever actually ends up right over here on the corner of the walkway. Now that is quite a shame, because I actually need the walkway to end a little bit further along the lever, because the trolls need to push and pull it. So one troll is going to be standing right here, and the other troll is going to be standing over here, of course, in front of the lever. Now that's quite a hard thing to do, because actually in the movie, the black gate sort of lever was attached to this. Well, that's not going to be possible with the tower design I have, because the towers in the movie are actually sort of round, and I really wanted to keep the tower design of the black gate set itself. I mean, I think that looks a lot better, of course, for the LEGO interpretation of the black gate, but also to sort of have a little bit of nostalgia within my mock towards the LEGO The Lord of the Rings official black gate set. So that is actually why I went with this sort of cube tower in the middle, but that's actually the only reason, because otherwise I would have made it a round tower. But that is actually the main reason why I need to make sure that this walkway is going to end up right around here. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a small area for my orcs to march through, but I mean, that's what you have with Lego. I mean, it's not going to be 100% scale, so that's definitely some sort of compromise I need to make for, of course, the end result of my Blackgate mock. That's going to look as good as possible. But right over here, actually, I got the longer walkway, and I believe this does end up, yeah, it doesn't really end up at the sort of spot I want it to end up. So the lever is actually going to be curved a little bit when I have the trolls standing right over here. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. I mean, it looks really good in my opinion, and there's plenty of space for all of my orc armies to march through. And remember, the entire orc army is going to march out of the Blackgate. Of course, I'm going to have a lot of orcs standing over here in the middle, but I'm also going to have a bulk of my orc army surrounding the Men of the West, of course, the armies of Gondor and Rohan. So that's definitely going to be something really cool. So I might not need too much space over here in the middle. It is going to be actually something really cool because I'm going to also have some orcs right over here and here. So the army won't sort of be a narrow army. It will be a big army marching out. So I will sort of pay attention to the setup of my army. Don't you worry about that. It's going to look as good as possible. But actually right now, I'm going to show you how long it took me to build all of those smaller details. So what I actually had to do was build the towers. Now, first of all, actually, I wanted to sort of change the design of the towers. I had to add a little bit of stability to the inside of the left tower, and it sort of broke apart. So every single piece from, of course, this height right here actually broke off. I had to rebuild a lot of the towers. Now, that was really something hard to do. For, of course, that tower right there. This tower actually was quite stable, so I didn't have to do that for that tower. But only working on the towers actually took me around 5 to 6 hours. Now, there's a reason that I actually didn't time-lapse this. That's because I really wanted to sit in my chair right over here, actually on the left to me. And, of course, I wanted to chill out and listen to some music. So I really didn't time-lapse that because I didn't really see the point of seeing me sort of changing up my design. There wasn't really a clear purpose of the time lapse for, of course, the towers, because you would see me running around in my room and not really seeing me build the towers. I mean, I was building the towers right here, over here on this little shelf right here. So I was building everywhere. It really was a mess. I mean, this entire box actually was emptied out on my table, and it was a huge mess. I'm really thankful that I cleaned that up right now, but I'm really just sort of traumatized by all of the pieces which lay on the table. So never going to do that again, I hope. I'm not really sure what the future is going to hold for Brickley, but I'm definitely going to need to do that again, unfortunately. Well, it's actually quite fun. It's just a little bit of a mess when you're building. But yeah, actually took me 5 to 6 hours to build the towers. And of course, building the details on the sides of the higher walls also added around, let's say, I think 3 to 4 hours, just those little details. I mean, you might say, well, Brickley, why does it take you so much time? Well, you actually need to search for the parts. Then, of course, make sure that everything is going to be sort of fitting as good as possible. And then finally, you need to make it look as good as you possibly can. Well, that's actually everything you need to do. So I actually built for around 9 to 10 hours. And you might say, well, the rock work took the same amount of time every episode. Well, I believe the rock work in total actually took me over 100 hours to make both mountains. Now, that's a lot of time put into rock work. And this over here, only 10 hours. I mean, that's not really something to compare to the rock work. So I'm really happy that this is finished. I mean, it was quite hard, but it was a fun challenge. And looking back on yesterday and today, I actually had quite a fun time building all of this. That's what Mordor is actually about. It's about building and having fun. And the main reason why I started this series is because, first of all, I want an epic Blackgate mock. Who doesn't want that? But I also want to make sure that every single one of you is going to be able to see the progress of me building this Blackgate mock. So this is some progress we've made together, not me we've all done this together right here, because without your support, this wouldn't have been possible. I mean, I've been building and building and reading your comments, and they've kept me motivated to continue building. And that's actually my drive for Mordor. So I want to thank every single one of you for supporting Mordor as much as you can. And of course, if you did enjoy watching this video, let me know by leaving a thumbs up to support it. Go subscribe to Brickley for more content. Ring that notification bell to stay updated when I post any videos. And of course, share this video with all of your family and friends. And I'll see you all in episode 31 of Building Mordor in LEGO.